Good morning and welcome to another episode of the Greenbridge Community Housing Podcast. We're joined today by Karl from Skills Labs.
Labs.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, Jackie. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm glad somebody asked, because I'm going to say most people expect you to go, I'm really well. I'm good. No, I'm not. I didn't sleep last night. Don't know why. Fidgeting, tossing and turning. And then my alarm went off at 5:45 for my gym session. And you know that you think, oh, I ain't going to go. But I did go. And I feel better.
Well, that's good.
But
that's good.
Yeah.
You showed up for yourself then.
That's right.
That's
I
what it's
didn't
about,
cancel
though,
on myself.
That's good. That's good.
So that's to answer your question. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Karl, and Skills Lab.
Well, I'm Karl. I'm the MD of Skill Lab. We teach young individuals from low-income families transferable skills. So basically introducing them to that doubt, denial, distraction, deletion perceptions that they have on themselves, into introducing them to their limitless potential, basically. Hopefully making them more confident individuals that have found their voice and are able to express themselves without resorting to some of the problems that we're seeing in our communities today.
What sort of problems do you see that we're seeing in our community today, Karl?
We're seeing violence on the streets, the constant protection over and fighting over postcodes and areas and stuff of this nature, fundamentally coming back from a place of insecurity more often than not, be it a financial situation at home or a problem at home. There could be some form of abuse, underlying neglect. And these are the kind of things that we're seeing as more and more families are really beginning to feel the pinch because of the heavy taxation that the country's facing at the minute. So more and more families are struggling, and unfortunately, because of today's consumer society, kids identify through the newest brands and the latest streetwear, and if they don't have that, then they want to find it elsewhere. You look at various entertainment that glorifies various kind of behavioural patterns within society to achieve these financial goals so they can have the latest stuff. Then it's a much bigger picture than just one thing, and quite often you really have to open the individual that you're speaking to and give them space to express themselves in a way that they understand and feel comfortable to do so, to talk about the issue. And once you know what that is, then you can tailor.
How does Skill Lab do that then? So it's great that you're dealing with and helping and supporting children from the, is this just boys or is it boys and girls?
No, it's anybody from the community, basically.
Right, okay.
Of a particular age group, with the government initiative, they have camp schemes.
Right.
There's a particular age bracket that we have to deal with, but it is open. Especially the summer camps, the camps that we do put on, they're open to everybody. It's a bit like the old school youth clubs that are not about anymore. And when Michael and I used to go to youth clubs, it was everybody, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of all races, of all ages, of all colours, it was everybody in the youth clubs.
That's right.
And we seem to have a society now where it's almost compartmentalised. This group is looking after that group of people, this group is looking after that people. So Michael and I thought, well, that don't help the situation at large, does it? It's because of the alienation and the difference of others and the prejudices that could be exposed to at home or the personal situation. So when we do the half camps and we bring everybody together, it is that old school youth club vibe. And
you went to the seaside, right?
We did, yeah.
I didn't get an invite. Well, you kept saying Michael, you're talking about fats, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
I thought, who's Michael? And then I remembered, that's his name.
Yes.
I don't know. I only know him as Fats, that's why. So where did you go? Because I didn't get an invite to I heard all about it. Fats rang me up. Oh my God, we did this, we did that. I had a lot. Nobody invited me.
Scarborough, was it? Great Yarmouth, sorry. Yeah, Great Yarmouth. Water fights on the beach.
That's my favourite.
Fish and chips.
You put the 2p in. Do they have still that?
No.
And you push the money forward. They don't have that no more.
No, it's not. Well, they do the 2p's. They've got the 2p machines.
And the horses that... Again, it was a long time. All right. I'm showing me age
Yeah, it's
there.
like $150 a game now, and things like this. Yeah, the prices
But
of the
it used to
amusements.
be, it was that
Pennies.
yeah, pennies. Great Yarmouth was my first experience of a girls' holiday. I won't go into the details. Leslie Thrussell, if you're watching, totally changed my life that week. We won't go into it because it's my husband's watching. But yeah,
You said so much.
that was the whole point without saying nothing. But yeah, and I still love it today because they used to, my mum and dad, God rest their soul, well, my mum used to work at Vauxhall's and they used to have a campsite. So you'd be able to go down there in the summer holiday and get like the caravans cheap, and hated it. It was so cold. But it's supposed to be summer. But the memories that, we just have the horse and cart that go down the road. Tell me they do. They do. Right, good. That's okay. I don't feel
I've
so.
never seen it now.
Yeah,
but they
it's
do
an
have that
experience.
tractor train. Have you seen
Tractor
that?
train.
Yeah, tractor train.
Oh,
It's like a
no.
tractor that looks like a train that pulls people down.
I've not been on. I've not been to Yarmouth for a very long time. So I was very disappointed that I didn't get an invite. I'm hoping to get one next year, when you guys go. But tell us about how children experience from having days out like that.
Well, you've got to take into account that a lot of people from the inner city lives, they don't get away. They don't, and a lot, you'll be really surprised, a lot don't even realise that England really has seaside and coastline and amusements and that kind of holiday vibe. So when you get some of these young kids that have never been away, really, they've never left, let's say Luton, for instance, they've never left Luton. That's their world. And then all of a sudden you stick them on a coach and you take them somewhere and they become completely different characters. I won't go into any names, but there's a few characters that have been coming to our camps on and off for years, and they've all got their own personalities,
Yeah.
And there was one that is a fabulous kid, right? But there's various rules around this particular the character, and if you slip up, he'll make you pay for it. Right, and we got him down to the coast, and it was practically hugs all day.
Oh.
Loved it, absolutely loved it. We put on a platter of food for them so they can help themselves. Make sure we got drinks and refreshments for them.
Did Michael cook?
No.
I didn't think he knew.
That's all outsourced. We outsource these things, and but yeah, it's just giving them that day at the seaside, and something that we as older people we take for granted. But when you take a kid from the middle
older people and kind of gave me that sideways look to say you are older than me.
Well, you just already told me indirectly how old you are with the 2 penny machines, right? So we know. Right.
It was that slight tilt of the head. You were quite cool. These older people. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll take that on board.
But that's one of the things that is the reward from it.
Mm.
To give them something that they haven't experienced, that they only see on the telly. And like I say, for us, it's just a coach ride down the road. But to them, it's a day out. All of a sudden, they're seeing the ocean, they're seeing the sea, they're seeing seagulls and all of that stuff. And like I said, for many, it's nothing. But to somebody that's never seen it, it's everything. And you can't, as far as I'm concerned, you can't buy that.
No, you can't. And do you go somewhere different every year?
We try to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try to.
So where did you go the year before?
I didn't go that year before. We had it was Great Yarmouth again, was it? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right, okay. But it's still, like you say, that, I am showing my age now because when C-Marks coaches, if they're still around, they used to travel from Kingsway the first and last Saturday of the school holidays. It was like, I suppose, going to Malaga now for us. You get up at 4 o'clock, you're so excited, you get dressed, you get to see Mark's coaches in Kingsway for 6 o'clock. Mum's cooked. Mum wouldn't come. It was just a day to be kids. So she'd do fried chicken, dumpling, salt fish. Oh my God, the excitement was just unbelievable. Then you'd have 2 coach stops on the way. Then you think that was like something incredible. And then you'd actually get to the seaside and it was like, oh my God. So that experience I experienced as a child, and was fortunate to go every year somewhere different. So I understand that feeling
Mm.
of, coming from a low income family and experiencing something that people take for granted. So I never take anything for, and since then I never have. But my kids will go on holidays. We take them to, Disney, Jamaica, cruise. But the ones that they remember the most are the holiday camps, Butlins,
Mm.
anywhere, Pontins, anywhere where it's non-stop entertainment. Get up on stage. I ain't doing that Agadoo thing. I ain't doing it. Colin, feel free. Eyes down for bingo. They love it. And when they're older now and you'd say to them, what's your best holiday? And you're expecting them to say Jamaica because that was bad. No, it was Butlins because they met other children. They made friends and they still have those friends now. And it's constant, the action junkies, my children. So it was constant all day. So, and by the time it was 7 o'clock, they were ready to go to bed, which was great. So I totally understand what you're saying in terms of having those lived experiences. It doesn't have to be something lavish and expensive for you to remember it. So yeah, that's great. So how does Skill Labs fund those trips?
The trips, unfortunately, they come out of our own pockets. We try to
That's incredible,
get as
though.
much back as we can through selling tickets for adults, etc.
Right.
But more often than not, it's out of our own pocket as a collective, and we'll put it on at the end of the year or something of that nature.
So is that something people watching could sponsor if they wanted to?
I reckon they could. I
think they
reckon
could.
if you were interested in helping fund, excursions for children to get away from the local estates and the chaos that is urban living, then please hit us up. Send us an email via Skills Lab, and we'll be really grateful. We could give you the information necessary on how to donate if that's something that you'd wish to do. But if you do, thank you very much. Nice plug.
That's what they pay me for. What I want to talk about is the other side of the business where, because as you know, we house homeless people, and a lot of our service users are refugees and asylum seekers. English isn't necessarily their first language. So I'm looking at ways that Skills Lab can connect and work together with us to help those individuals. Sometimes they come to us and they're lonely, they're scared, they're tired, they're unsure, they lost their way. And, homelessness can not just happen to, refugees or asylum seekers. It could happen to any one of us. And everyone sort of says that it's 2 days, you're 2 paychecks away from being homeless. Some people aren't even 2. Some are living paycheck to
Hand to
paycheck.
mouth,
yeah. So how would we work together if we wanted to signpost our service users to you? What could they expect to get from Skill Labs?
Well, one, it would depend on what they wanted, what it is that you were looking for. If it's the talking points that you mentioned, depression, low, scared, anxious to assimilate and go out into the world, then we'd have to maybe do workshops or one-to-ones with individuals, because it has to be tailored to an individual. Once you actually break the shell, then you can introduce more group work.
Yeah.
But initially, they need the security of just you and I in this instance. Regardless to what you say, let's just explore that, and then we can get to the bottom of it. And once they feel comfortable and they begin to understand where you're coming from, that's when you can introduce a more collective group, because they've all gone through that initial assimilation kind of conversation to acclimatise one another. But once you've done that, then we can put on workshops around public speaking, engagement, how you'd interact in the local environment. The subtle nuances that separate one country from another one, because not one garden is the same, unfortunately, on Earth. We all have our slightly different nuances and our perceptions on how things are, cultural norms, etc. So, things that could be all right in one place are forbidden and taboo in another. And you need to make sure that these subtle nuances that go undiscussed are discussed. So, one, there's a safe interaction between the cultures, as
Mm.
opposed to, you know, just opening the door willy-nilly and then God forbid something bad happens, either or,
Yeah.
just because of a lack of awareness of the
Mm.
cultural differences. But as soon as you begin to bridge those gaps, then things become a lot more cohesive. They become a lot more malleable. People have a tendency to work together once they've got over the distrust of the unfamiliar.
Isn't that what we're facing locally and nationally and worldwide now?
I was going to say, yeah, globally, yeah.
It
It
is.
is.
It is. You know, growing up, I didn't think, oh, that's a white child or that's an Asian. I just thought, oh, that's a child. But now, color is in every sentence, isn't it? It's these things don't help. Okay, social media doesn't help. Higher authorities don't help. And how do you think we can change that, Carl? Or can we?
That's a good question, and it's a question that requires, again, that thing that we were discussing, a more field marshal's view of the situation itself. You know, it's easy to get caught up in your local environment and the back and forth, but as you rightly mentioned, this is a global thing that's taking place here. So you could either tackle it from the ground up, you know, that 100 monkey syndrome, you know, you teach one, you teach another, and then it begins to spread from the ground up. But that, in a sense, is what the police are going through at the minute, fire beating, in a sense, where they've got no real community engagement. It's just from one scenario to another. So then you step back and you look at the field marshal's objective viewpoint of the world at large, and you can see that there are various organizations that are pushing for the situations that we're seeing across Europe and the developed world. So it's almost you're fighting a front on 5D chess, so to speak. You know, it's so compartmentalized and yet interwoven that it's hard to make changes anywhere, because every organization is constantly emergency reactions to new policy, to new mandate, to new law, to new statute. And here's the thing, right? Say if we're all in a room and we have a meeting and we decide what this new normal is, right? This thing
What
here,
is normal?
this is the thing. This thing here, we're going to call that. Everybody in attendance, we're going to call this that. Are we all in agreement? Yes, I think that is a perfectly good explanation for this.
Yeah.
Right? And then we all go away and we know what we're talking about. We're talking about that. Now, unfortunately, the 99% of the rest of the global population, they weren't in that meeting. They have no idea what your new normal is. So they're carrying on as every day they always have done, right? And then all of a sudden they're being arrested. They're being locked up for something that they've said. They haven't registered a pronoun. They haven't addressed somebody in the proper manner in today's inclusive society. And all of a sudden they found themselves in trouble. So could we hypothesize that it's a lack of information? But still, that doesn't give us, what do we do then? How do we tackle this?
Yeah.
How do we tackle this? And it's I think information is key. You know, the power of information is one of the biggest gifts we can award ourselves. The moment you become informed to a much greater theatre at play, as opposed to just the emotional reaction to your local stimulus. Because that in itself is blinding. It's like a racehorse. You know, anger doesn't see joy, hate doesn't see love, etc. You know, up applies to down, hot applies to cold. All of these things are interconnected. So it's how we move as individuals. So one of the key things that I focus on within Skill Lab, but also outside in my personal life, is being right within me. The moment I'm functioning in an optimal manner, where I am no longer reacting to the world around me, I'm consciously acting upon the image and experience that is required for the situation, then by doing that, without the need for, I want to change this person, your energy in that instance is doing the work for you.
I agree.
So you let go of that, I've got to change this person, I've got to change that person, because if you're taking that perception, you're constantly seeing the lack within the world and not the wholeness within the self. The moment you're whole within yourself, that becomes infectious.
Yeah, it does.
So I don't need to change you. Just by our interactions, you're feeding energetically off me.
Yeah.
So it's about the quality of the company that you're keeping. There's a beautiful saying, as you were mentioning earlier on, that we are the average of the 5 people we hang about most.
100%.
And if you're the smartest person
So,
in the
sorry,
room,
just to butt in, the 5 people that I am surrounded with, please don't change. Please. After watching this, I don't want any, I need to change myself because Carl, don't change, otherwise you'll be gone. And the 5 people will become 4 and 3 and 2. It's about having a bit of fun.
It is. You know, and it's about the quality of people around you. And I suppose that's where it can all start. And then regardless to if you agree with some of the policies that are coming forward or not, just by being your authentic self, and I don't mean that in the sense of anybody, because some of us are cantankerous.
Yes,
you know, some of us
They
can
are.
be angry at times. Some of us can be offish. Right?
See, Michael again, he's looking at you.
Yeah. we can keep people at arm's length. So we have to also have that introspective awareness of how we conduct ourselves.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and if you can keep an awareness of your group and the people that you keep around you, then that will give you a clear indication on what you're going to be getting out of life. You know, if you're surrounded by naysayers, then
You become
any
one.
idea that you come up with is going to be shot down, and you're going to lose all motivation.
Yeah.
If you surround yourself with go-getters, then all of a sudden, you know, you've got these ideas, and you put an idea forward, and you've got 4 people instantly go, "That's a wicked idea. Let's get behind it."
Yeah.
And then things are happening. You know, the biggest, like I mentioned before we started talking, the biggest obstacle that we have in our lives is ourselves. The moment you can turn the self into an asset, then you're winning.
Yeah, 100%. So with Skill Labs, is that what your kind of ethos is, to discover yourself first and then build
go on.
that?
Yeah, you got to have foundations. You got to have strong foundations to who you are. You know, and there's this beautiful saying: if you don't know who you are, the world will certainly tell you.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. You know, a lot of people live their actual life through the expectations and the eyes of others. You know, and then they get to 40 and then have a midlife crisis because they spent 30 years doing something that they thought would please somebody else. So the moment you begin to find your Shangri-La in life, that what makes you happy, that what elevates you as an individual, like I said, it becomes infectious. So the ethos is certainly one of introducing somebody to their limitless potential, that you are not the thoughts that you're having in your mind, but the awareness. You know, you're not that identity. You're the limitless potential waiting for instruction. The moment you give it instruction, the moment you can start building. So
is that kind of your mission statement?
you could say, you could say that. Yeah.
It's very similar if you look at my Facebook page to my
Facebook status?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my mission statement about mine is just helping ordinary people live extraordinary, daringly different lives.
Absolutely.
Because there's something unique in every single one of us. It's just about knowing what it is, extracting it, working with it, and becoming the best version of you. That, you know, we're all going to look at, I don't know, Viola Davis, Whitney Houston, whatever. And I think it's really good that you have positive, strong role models to, you know, try and work towards being. But no one's you.
No one can do
No
you
one
better
can
than
do
you.
exactly.
No.
And my mum used to say that, and I was like, "What does she mean? I don't understand." You know, years later, I did understand, and it was all about, in my household, very strict, very, very strict. God rest her soul. I know you're listening, Mum. So listen, yeah. All that I'm not, you know, all the why can't I do it? Everyone else is doing it. I get it now. I didn't get it at the time. I wanted to go out, wanted to be out, you know, all hours, and wasn't allowed. And they were like, no one would come to our house because my mum would say, no, don't answer the door. She's really strict. I get it now, especially boys. That was for a boy thing. At the time, I was like, yeah, but he's going out with her. And blah, blah. Then next minute, they're 16 and they're pregnant. I didn't, you know, at the time, I was like, okay, yeah, but it happens. Everyone was doing it. But now I get it. So it is about understanding that if you have got positive, strong role models as parents, and praise God I did, please listen. Please listen. Years later, it will make sense. At the time, you're like, God, they're so strict. I can't do this. I can't do it. But they're protecting you. That's all they're trying to do, is to protect you, to try and grow and nurture you in the right manner, have those morals and those values that they instilled in you from young, and still are relevant today. At the time, you're like, I ain't going to church. I hate. But now I understand as an older adult why I was sent. Was it the right church? We're not even going to go there. But the lesson is still the same today. So is that what service users or people that come to you can expect to get out of that experience with you? And how long would they stay with you?
Again, it's like any kind of help or therapeutic approach. You know, it all depends on the individual that you're interacting with.
Right.
You know, there's that ancient old saying, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You know, you can bring knowledge to an individual, but you can't make them think. You know, they've got to have a desire within themselves to think, hang on, what I'm doing isn't working. So there's got to be that, at least, you know, because that's the foundation. That's the mortar to start laying our first bricks. And if somebody's really keen and they're sharp and they take it on board, then it could be a matter of weeks. It really could. There's this beautiful kind of Taoist statement where a young disciple went to his teacher and he said, you know, how long does it take for enlightenment? He turned around and said, could take 2 weeks, it could take 2 years. He said, how long if I really try? He said, oh, it could take 4 years. He said, how about if I really, really try? So it could take a lifetime. Because the more you're trying to be something, the more you're identifying unconsciously that you're not.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? So it's a question of if they're open to the potential of whom and what they could be, then it could take no time at all.
Yeah.
They just needed that one person to hold up that mirror and say, hey, you see that limitless bit of potential in there? Well, that's you, that is. You can write the script. You're the architect. And yes, that could take a matter of moments. Or if you're dealing with somebody that's been through an awful lot of psychological trauma or anything like that, it could take a lifetime. It could take a lifetime.
How do you measure the success of the people you interact with at Skills Labs? How do you measure that success?
Their emotion and linguistic expressions. That's the best way. You know, like I mentioned earlier on, you get a lot of people that will identify through doubt, denial, distraction, illusionary perspectives, I can't, I won't, only if, etc. These are all limitations. So if at the end of a session or a prolonged period of sessions, all of a sudden you've got an individual that's expressing themselves beyond the I focus, you know, they have a more we perspective as opposed to a self-serving, right? You're making progress. You know, if you can turn around and say, tell me something that you love about yourself, and they go, do you know what? I absolutely love my face. I love my hands. They didn't have to think about it. It just come to them. Do you know what I mean? You ask some people, tell me something you love about yourself, and they go, I don't know.
Yeah.
You got something there because you're dealing with somebody that has a very negative image of self. You know, that they are their greatest asset. And so,
it's difficult to get people to understand that perspective, isn't it? It's really difficult. I've been on my own personal journey for a few years now. Dan Corby, if you're watching, I love you. Didn't love you at 7 o'clock this morning because my legs are actually really sore from training.
But you did it.
But I did. I was, you know, the alarm went off and I said to you earlier, I'm not going to do it. But that's cancelling on myself, isn't it? So how the hell am I supposed to motivate people if I can't motivate myself? So I got up, got to the gym, done my session, felt great. But what other people saw in me for a long time I didn't see. And I was just like, why are they saying that? I didn't get it. Now I get it. And now the ceiling is just growing and growing and growing, which is amazing. And people kind of looked at me in the past and, oh, she's confident. She's teaching classes. She's you know, on the radio show. Thank You Fats. Used to love that radio show. It was wicked. And we might need to bring that back. And you were doing all these positive things. You're always in the community. but it was in here,
Mm.
wasn't what was out there.
That's right. It was one of the hats that you wear,
Yeah.
and this is what a lot of people do. You know, we wear our hats. You know, in particular environments, you have to wear a particular suit. You know, a particular face to conduct yourself in a particular way, because this particular theatre has particular rules, and if you don't follow those particular rules, you're particularly in trouble.
Yeah.
You know? So that dexterity of character in a forever changing world
Every day.
is paramount.
Every day.
Yeah, if you're stringent and rigid with whom and what you are, then you're like that racehorse with blinkers. You know, you can only see that what's in front of you. And many an opportunity lie just outside our peripheral if we dare step back and widen our gaze.
I talked earlier about homelessness, and you said, been there.
Yeah.
I remember everything. I
Yeah.
might not bring it up at the time. How did that affect you?
How did that affect me? At the time, it was life. I was a foster kid. I come from a colourful background. You know, I had my first council flat just before my 16th birthday on the Yellow Brick Estate in South East London, Peckham.
Just touching on that, because if anyone knows, it was a children's home. If anyone knows Luton, where Icknield High School is, there's a home. It used to be a children's home right at the bottom of the path. And I thought, no, they had the latest trainers. They got like the Binatone TV game. They got the latest Lyle and Scott. And I thought, I want to live there. My mum said, pack up your stuff.
Off you go.
To Mama. I was like, what do you mean? But then I remembered a lot, and I'm still in touch with a lot of them have passed away, unfortunately. A lot of them are still with us. And literally on the last day, they give you a bag with your clothes, some money, and they say bye-bye.
Yeah.
I said, what do you mean? I couldn't comprehend. You've had this home for so many years and you're just put out in the world.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with that at 16?
You don't have no choice, do you? At 16. You know, again, it's a very different world that we grew up in to the world that children are experiencing today. Yes, there's just as many troubles, if not worse, in some guise or another. But in the sense of parental upbringing and safe spaces and, you know, all of that stuff, no, that didn't exist. That didn't exist at all. And I left school at 14 years old. I had full-time work. And I was earning most probably just as much as my foster father. And feeling quite cocksure of myself and brash and bolshy, you know, thinking I was the big I am. And one day we had a massive falling out that resulted in blows and physical altercations. And the next thing I know, I had my black bags with a note off my foster mother saying that I couldn't live here anymore. So off I went up to the council, my tail between my legs. And they said, okay, temporary accommodation on, I think it was North Peckham Estate, I think it was. Somewhere like that. And I was there for 2 weeks, and I think the first 2 nights I cried myself asleep. You know, I went from a house that you have all your creature comforts that you take for granted, you know, my bed, my hi-fi, my TV, you know, food in the fridge. All of that kind of stuff, right? And then I was in this horrible grey concrete, 1-bedroom, nasty flat in North Peckham. And it was grim. It was grim. I was scared. I was like, oh my Christ, here we are. This is
real life.
This is real life now. Here you are. And you wake up and you go to work. That was my option. You know, and I did what I had to do. And then 2 weeks before my 16th birthday, they said, we got a flat for you, a 1-bedroom flat. Do you want to take it? I said, where is it? They said, the Yellow Brick Estate, Bells Gardens Estate, the middle of Peckham. But that's where I was raised anyway. And then my foster parents lived on the next estate over. So for me, it was like, yeah, excellent, I'll have that. So for 3 years, I had 3 18th birthday parties and all that kind of stuff. You know, you got to imagine this is in the height of the rave era and the clubbing era. And yeah, that's how I was living.
Yeah.
I lived to work, or should I say, I worked to live.
Right.
And for many years, that's what I did. I hid all of that anxiety, the broken, lost little boy that was rejected by his biological parents, the angry individual that lashed out at the world. You bury all of that in a world of narcotics and colourful lights and violence. And because you're surrounded by individuals of that nature, you don't necessarily see the carnage that is your own life.
Yeah.
So for years, it was that's life, is it not? This is living.
What changed?
I don't think much did for many years. Not for many years. Ended up leaving London, breaking up from a long-term girlfriend at the age of 18, coming to Luton. My foster parents now lived in Luton. So I moved to Luton at 18. I became the supervising floor manager at the Zone nightclub.
Stop it. It's my favourite nightclub.
Right. And then
I probably was really rude to you at some point.
Could have been rude to you.
Oh, yeah, you could have been rude to me at some point. That was a good club.
Right. And met my first wife. She used to work on a door. Then joined the armed forces.
Oh.
Yeah. And then went around the world for a few years doing what you do in the armed forces. And came out, divorced, 5 months a civilian, then in prison. A few years in prison, come out, remarry again. Divorce. This is now over in Bristol. So yeah, there was for a while, for another few decades, I can imagine, there was 3 more marriages, 6 kids.
3 marriages and 6 children.
Yeah. By the time I was 30.
Wow.
32, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still in contact with your children?
Some.
Is that hard not to be in contact?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But you have to take ownership of who you are. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, looking back, I weren't a nice guy.
You can say that about yourself.
I can say that about myself. I wasn't a nice guy. There's times in my life where if I would have caught me doing the things I would have done, I would have sorted myself out proper,
Yeah.
And not in a good way. But yeah, I was horrible at times in my life, very horrible to all and sundry. It didn't.
Was
it didn't
that
matter.
Possibly because of
unprocessed trauma?
Yeah,
yeah,
trauma.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All abandonment issues, personality issues, drug, violence, narcotics, hooliganism, criminal life, really. And then there becomes a point where you go, what are you doing, mate?
What was that point?
Looking back at relationships, really, and my third divorce was just brutal because it was unexpected. Every relationship I've been in, I've far been a saint, really, but every one I've gone on to the next one, I've been a better human being. Introspection and reflection on who you've been is necessary because you don't want to bring that carnage into the next one. I've been that insecure male where you've been quite handsy and just brutal, and that don't work because it ends up in the same effect. You end up single, right? So that don't work. You become the demonstrous, oppressive male. That don't work because now the person that you're with feels like shit. All right, excuse my language, but that don't work. So through the ongoing success of failure brings about an awareness to success. If you want to do it,
So change is possible.
Change is absolutely possible, but you got to want to change. Here's the thing. First things first, you have to accept who you've been.
Yeah.
And here's the paradox, right? You could ask some people, and they'll turn around and say, "He's a saint. You do anything for everybody." Right? And they're right. They're true. And then you'd ask another group of people and they'd turn around and say, he's the devil himself. He's a horrible, violent man. And the paradoxical thing is they're true. Because that's who I was. Yeah. To both of these characters. But that doesn't determine who I am in this moment. You see, so you have to accept who you've been. You've got to accept that there is always going to be some people that think you're a really horrible piece of work because that's who you were. I'm not going to change that. I can't change that. No. So I have to accept and forgive myself for being an arsehole. First and foremost. And a lot of people have trouble with that. How can you forgive yourself? Well, it's because you put yourself through it, didn't you?
Yeah. You've got to, haven't you?
You have to.
Mm.
So life itself brings about the evolutionary change. You know, each one of us are on, if you're on that particular side of the fence or aware of these kind of fields of thinking, you know, your ascension path. You know, this higher purpose to one's existence, and to understand some of the things that I understand, you've got to go through it.
Yeah.
You know, I've been shot at, I've been stabbed several times, I've been kidnapped, I've done all these things, and there comes a point where you go, well, you're still here, mate. What are we going to do with that?
Yeah, how are we going to change this now?
How are we going to use all of that?
Yes.
How can we turn all of that
Into
something that's
positive.
valuable?
Yeah.
And it turns out that now, nearly 5 decades on, that lived experience and the work I've done introspectively has brought about the gold that lies in all of us.
Mm.
It's an awareness of what not to do, and if you do it, how to unpack the carnage that's going to be left within you.
Mm.
I mentioned to you before, it's easy to be an arsehole.
Yeah.
It is.
It is, yeah.
The hardest battle you'll ever fight is the one with yourself.
Yeah. It is true. Yeah, 100%. So that's what people that are watching, if they want to get in touch, if they've been through or living through what you've just discussed, how can they get in touch with Skills Lab?
Online, literally, go online. It's www.theskillslab.co.uk. Am I right? Yeah, .co.uk. Send us an email. You'll see some pages on there where you can meet the team, meet myself, meet some of the other colleagues that are on the website, and send us an email, and we will get back to you. There will be somebody that will there to listen, and that's how the line of communication starts. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
What motivates you to get up every day?
Life.
Such a good answer. I've got all goosebumps now.
Yeah.
And not most people say me.
No,
But
life,
yeah, it's great,
life.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all going on.
Yeah.
All of it. You know, all of it. And when I say all of it, I mean like all of it is all going on. Some of the most horrid, darkest, macabre, evil, brutal things you could possibly think of, right? That's going on right now as we speak. But equally, right now, somebody's just fell in love. A baby's just been born by somebody that thought they could never have kids. Somebody's just got married. Somebody's just met a relative that they never ever saw and they thought didn't even exist, and they just absolutely love it. Equally, there's somebody that just sacrificed himself to save a complete stranger because it was the right thing to do. It's all going on.
Yeah.
But where are you going to place your perspective? You know, the moment you step out of the trenches and develop that field marshal's awareness of the world, your life and society itself, you can see that you can weave and run any particular ladder or snake you wish. You know, you are the architect. You set the standard. You determine if these things are good or bad. Because it all happens internally.
Yeah, 100%.
So the moment you're aware of that, life itself, because you never know what it's going to bring.
It's kind of a wonderful thing, but scary thing at the same time.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking, oh God, you know, I wake up every day, I open the curtains, the first thing I go is, God, thank you for waking me up. Thank you for my little family. And please let me have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Every single day. And my husband's like, oh, it's so bright. And he's still asleep because he's retired now. But it's always so important to make sure that you say thank you. Because it's not a natural, it's not a God-given. You know, some of us didn't wake up today. Some of us may not wake up tomorrow. But as long as we're here and it's valid today, it's about giving thanks and doing the best you can. Doing some good. Be kind. You can be anything. Just be kind. That's all. Kind. I did let a lady out of the crossing today, so hopefully.
There's your good day. It'll come back, you see. What we put out will come back. I'm late.
Carl's rang. Where the hell? No, she was all distressed. She had the buggy on the phone. I thought, come on.
You been there?
No, not with the phone. No phone back in the day. All I had was
the brick.
Do you remember? And I had a battery pack that was the size
the car battery.
Oh, mate, I thought I was something else in the West End. One of them, bit of a Del boy. It's been amazing. You have been amazing.
Thank you so much.
I feel, I don't know the word I feel. I haven't smiled this much in an interview. Not that all my other guests weren't lovely, but I can connect with everything you've said, which is amazing. We will have you back. And I want to work together closer with you and Michael. That's so funny. In the future, any events that you're putting on that we could possibly, potentially, I hope you're listening to, sponsor or support, get in touch. And best of luck for the future with Skilled Labs.
Thank you very much for giving us your time, Jackie, and to all your viewers and everything else that watch your podcast.
They're going to connect with it. Trust me, I feel it already. Look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Thank you very much, Jackie.